Welcome to the Clique podcast. I'm Dani Watson, a mindset and manifestation expert and founder of the Clique, a company that helps women overcome their fears and limiting beliefs to create a life and business that they love. Within this podcast, I will help you get clear on what you want, identify the blocks that are holding you back, transform your mindset and raise your vibration so that you can co-create magic with the universe. If you are looking to design a life that truly sets your soul on fire and manifest more success and abundance, then you are in the right place. Okay, well, welcome, ladies. I am absolutely delighted to have with us today Alison, who is one of our graduates from the Clique Academy. And we've just actually been chatting just before we hit the record button because Alison has most recently, in her many achievements since becoming a coach, published a book. And am I right? It's an Amazon bestseller.
We've hit Amazon bestseller in 6 categories, including mental health, women's autobiographies and memoirs, a couple of psychology categories. So,
oh my goodness, wow. Well, I'm going to be asking you some more questions about that book into this chat today. And what I will do as well, I will link it in the show notes. So for anybody who wants to read that can grab themselves a copy. But where I wanted to start actually, Alison, today is what actually got you into the coaching world? Like, what was it that made you want to become a coach in the first place?
So I'm actually coming up to my 2-year anniversary of my business.
Yay!
It's been a roller coaster couple of years. It's insane. And it was around this time 2 years ago when I first connected with your free group and your free course that you were running at the time. And even thinking back to then, it just really resonated with me. And I've always been the person that everyone goes to for advice. You know, always been that like go-to person. Oh, we'll ask Alison what she thinks on this and like, you know, help me sort my life out type thing. And a lot of the time it would leave me feeling drained. And I kind of felt a lot of responsibility. And then I learned about coaching and I thought, well, here is a way I can help people, but actually learn like how to do it properly type thing. And it seemed really scary at first. And I literally thought about maybe coaching people from home for an extra couple of £100 a month. Like I was, you know, at that time, I'd not long qualified as a biomedical scientist, but working in the NHS, it's not well paid. So I was just looking for something to top up my income, really. And I actually fell into it coming across a diploma in mindfulness. And then mindfulness and life coaching, and it kind of all just came together at once, if that makes sense. Like it was kind of like things were aligning and I was being pushed in this direction. So I did the free course and loved it. I did hire my own coach as well at that time, which was a little bit of a disaster and made me very passionate about going on to be certified because she wasn't, and she would make me feel really bad about the fact that I wanted a certification, and she was like, you only want to do that because you think people are going to judge you. And I was like, no, it's because people are going to pay me money and like their lives are in my hands. I want to be able to give them some guarantees of what I'm doing. So after already forking out for that, I then I found out about the Clique Academy, and I just knew it was the right decision. You know, I felt sick about handing over more money, which I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with, because when you've not invested that sort of money in yourself, it's a scary thing to do. But I can honestly say it's literally the best decision I've ever made in my life. The trajectory of my life changed that day when I handed over my card details and I signed up. And you know, I've grown so much as a person. I've had so many opportunities, and it was just one of those things where the only thing holding me back was the money. but everything else just felt so right about it, and I was just being so pulled towards it that I was, this room that I'm talking to you in now, I was actually pacing this room, like, what do I do? Do I do it? And I was just like, I've just got to do it. Like, I knew it was going to be the right thing for me.
And what was it in that moment? Because I know a lot of people have this, where they've got that fear in their head that's sort of holding them back. Like, with the knowledge that you have now, and sort of the, I guess, the coaching that you've been doing for yourself, but also for your clients, like, in that moment where fear seems to be holding you back the most, how can we respond to that fear?
So I always say, and this is something I always say to my coaching clients, action neutralizes fear. It's fear of the unknown. It's fear of putting yourself out there. For me, it was a bit like the fear of, well, if I commit to this, I've got to do it. And that's a scary thing, because we love to make excuses and hold ourselves back. And it was like, no, if I do this, I am committing. And am I ready for that? And I was like, yes, I am, actually. So I took the action. And as soon as I finished that phone call and I'd signed up, I just felt utter relief. And that's how you know you've made the right decision on something, you know, that relief.
Yes, because that's the thing, like, the decision not to do something when you know deep down it's what you want to do is such a heavy weight on your shoulders. And it's almost like when you finally give yourself permission to say yes to your dreams, it's like, oh, what have I been waiting for? One thing that I've absolutely loved seeing about your journey, Alison, is that you are somebody that you've been in this, you know, your career and your job, which commands a lot of time from you, yet you've still managed to not only start this, but manage to actually, you know, get your business off the ground, start coaching, and also publish a book and achieve all of these amazing things. So what is your philosophy around, you know, this idea that, oh, I just don't have the time to do this?
You make time. You put the time into what is a priority for you. And it's very easy to procrastinate. It's very easy to spend hours scrolling on Facebook. It's very easy to not be accountable to yourself. So I got around that by speaking to other people, you know, kind of saying, this is what I'm going to do, because it's amazing when you start speaking about things, you're then kind of like, oh gosh, I've got to do it now. But also how, you know, the universe will make way for you when you say you want to do something. Like when I was coming up to submitting my coaching certification early mid last year, COVID had just hit, that word that we shall not mention. And actually in the lab, they were asking us if we wanted to take any leave because they needed people to socially distance. So all of a sudden I had 3 weeks off to just focus on my coaching business. And so it's amazing how things happen when you put it out there to universe, you make it a priority, and things will fall in line for you. It's about getting out of your own way, and your why and your reason being stronger than your excuses and what holds you back.
Yes. I absolutely love that. And I think that when you say yes to yourself, the universe says yes right back. And it's amazing how once you are on that path and you make that, you know, that dream of yours a non-negotiable, things just start to magically fall into place. So I think this kind of not having the answers to begin with, or not knowing how things are going to unfold, you know, it doesn't matter, and you've got to be able to leap into that unknown. So I love that. So tell me a little bit now, tell our listeners rather, who it is that you're helping now as a coach, and, you know, who your coaching niche is.
So I say I'm a life coach and mindset mentor. So my niche is all about positive mindset and manifestation, but I'm a little bit different because I'm a very practical person. You know, I have a scientific background, and I put the science and the woo together to give you action steps for manifesting your dreams. Because for me, you know, previous coach, when she said to me, just manifest it, I was like, but how? I don't know how. Whereas now I'm like, well, you need to get your emotional vibration in alignment. And you can do that with very practical steps. You know, focus on having an attitude of gratitude. Again, that will make you happier, will put you in vibrational alignment with your dreams, goals, and desires. So there's a lot of practical things you can do for the cynics out there. And it's amazing how when you focus on the practical stuff, you then can allow the universe to provide the how and show up for you, but you focus on what you need to focus on, and allow the universe to show up for you. So that's what I teach my clients, and to flip their thinking so that they can easier cope with difficult life situations, as you know, I've been through myself. I currently run a membership called the VIP Tribe, the Positive Mindset VIP Tribe. And after a bit of a trying year, I have now finally decided to start taking on one-to-one clients again. So that's exciting.
Amazing. So one of the things I wanted to ask you actually, Alison, was because you obviously now like know who you're helping, and you've got sort of your, you know, how you support your clients through your membership, through your one-on-one. Did you know this before you started on this journey, or was this something that you've sort of developed over time?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I didn't have a clue. And I have changed my title and my niche so many times. I've gone from being a confidence coach to a success empowerment coach, whatever that means. And then I just decided to keep it really simple. And people always say to me, because of how you helped me change how I thought about this, you changed this whole situation. I dealt with it so differently. And it was like, there we go. That's my superpower. I help people flip their thinking. And it's just about getting out there. You know, I started my Facebook group not really having a clue what I was doing with it. I just showed up at first telling my story, telling what I had done, how I had found personal development and positive mindset, and how that had changed my life. And then it just developed into this. So for the people who always say, but I don't know what my niche is, but I don't know who I want to help, you know what, just start speaking to people, see what resonates with you, and your audience will tell you what they want from you.
Yes, I love that. And I think this is the thing, like, it's often not until you actually start training or like start practicing with other clients or start to, you know, create content and building that audience, that helps you get clarity on your niche. So you don't necessarily have to have it all figured out at the beginning. So yeah, I absolutely love that. I wanted to dive into a little bit about how your mindset has changed, because I know from sort of seeing how you've blossomed through this whole process and just seeing you really step into your power and owning your strength and doing all of these amazing things, and you know, more recently the book as well. So Alison, I would love for you to share with our listeners where your mindset was before you started this process and where you're at now, and what's really kind of helped you kind of transform your own mindset.
I'll tell you a secret. I still don't have it all figured out. And that's the thing. Like, nobody, I don't think, really has it figured out. It's just about showing up day after day. And people, you know, come to me and they say that I'm inspiring, that I've helped them, that they really resonate with what I say. And that inspires me to carry on and carry on showing up, because I know I'm making a difference. And it is just about like getting out there and speaking to people. You know, I did my first Facebook Live in my group and it was 7 very painful minutes. But I leave it in there because then when people go to me, oh, but you're great on live now. I'm like, go watch that. Go watch that, because you will see how much I've learned and grown. And it's, you know, it is just about showing up all the time and not letting those mindset gremlins hold you back. Like, I've got a bigger message to share with the world. You know, my group is a Positive Mindset Tribe, and it is my vision that one day that is going to be a worldwide brand, helping people with their mental health and their personal development and moving forward in their life. This isn't about me. My message is bigger than me, and that keeps me going.
Yes, I love that. And I think once you take yourself out the equation and kind of just silence that ego a bit and say, look, this isn't about me and my fears. This is about who I need to be today for those that I want to serve, and how can I show up for them today in a more powerful way. And I think when you lead from that place of service, it's easier to kind of silence those fears and push those your own sort of mindset issues to one side for a second. What has been sort of the biggest changes you've seen in terms of your, I guess, your sort of confidence in who you are since you've become a coach?
So the biggest thing has been actually stepping into my power as a business owner. Like a year ago, I kind of still felt like a silly little girl playing shop. You know, what am I doing here? I would do a lot of sessions for free because I didn't feel like I had a proper business. You know, and it has just been kind of going, no, this is real. This is something here, and it's something for me to own and move forward with.
I love that. And going from that, you know, getting in that mindset of giving stuff away for free to then actually owning your worth and what you're able to deliver and actually being able to charge for that. What do you think has helped you with that process?
Understanding that I've invested a lot in myself. I've invested a lot of time and money in getting to where I am today, and you deserve to be paid for your expertise. You deserve to be paid for your time, for the transformation you are going to give people. Like I can very quickly help people pinpoint something that is holding them back right now. And when I point it out to them, they're like, oh my God, I didn't see that. And then I can give them, you know, an action plan for how to move forward. And all of a sudden, life becomes so much easier. And that is a transformation that's worth paying for. That's worth charging for, because I haven't got to where I am today. Like I got a certain amount of the way, piggybacking on all the free courses and the free challenges and reading books and, you know, signing up for all the freebies. But when I really invested in myself and really got that one-to-one support, that's when change really happened.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing where getting certified and getting that training comes into play, is really when it comes to you actually charging for your services, because you know that you've got something that's being backed by, you know, a proven framework. It's been tried and tested. And, you know, especially I guess when you're in a program that is accredited, you know, that really helps with that confidence, because it makes you really value what it is that you're providing for your clients. And let's just talk about the transformations your clients are seeing, because I know for a fact they're achieving phenomenal things. So would you like to share a little bit more about what you've seen in your clients?
So the one transformation that sticks with me the most is one of my ladies in my membership. We've actually become quite good friends because she also got a membership for her business, and so we've talked a lot about that. And she had an event to go to a few weeks ago, so she invited me to go to it with her. And so I went to hers, and we were going on from there, and her partner turned around to me and said he can see the change in her from working with me. And that was one of the biggest testimonials I could ever ask for, because he was totally cynical. He gave her a massive hard time. Why do you need coaching? What do you need to do this for? And for him to turn around to me and say, thank you for everything you've done. I can see a massive change in her. And actually it's making life between us easier.
Wow, amazing.
You know, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean,
the impact.
Yeah, especially from somebody who perhaps didn't get it to begin with. And what I've definitely seen, and perhaps you've been the same, Alison, like in the industry, just people's openness now to coaching and understanding of actually what coaching is and what it can do for them. And people that perhaps were previously cynical about coaching, or perhaps just didn't get it, didn't see the value in it. There's been this real shift, and just the whole industry is really, we're only just scratching the surface. It's really blowing up in a big way. Have you kind of noticed that as well?
Yeah, totally. And, even my own perception of it has changed over time as well, because I'm very open about my mental health battles. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety around about a decade ago. And this year, with some trauma I've been through, it's actually caused PTSD. So that's been difficult to work through. So with my own mental health battles, like I've had a lot of counselling. And it's actually been through my work with coaching and coaches I've worked with that I've had the biggest breakthroughs. So I'm not saying that coaching is a substitute for counselling at all, but when you are looking to move forward with your life and you're feeling blocked, actually coaching is a really, really amazing asset that we have there to use. And I think as well, people are starting to realise that, and I'm definitely shouting very loud about this, that you don't just have to be stuck with your lot. You don't just have to be happy with where you are. Oh, people have it worse than you. So what? You can have it better if you want it to. You deserve to live the life you want on your terms and be happy. And coaching is a tool that will help you move forward.
Yes, absolutely. And I think there's definitely, I've seen it myself from starting out in the industry. I'm obviously based in the UK like you, but when I started out, like pretty much all of my clients were from the US, because I would speak to people in the UK and they just perhaps didn't understand what it was, or perhaps got it confused with counselling. And I would have to kind of explain like what coaching could do and, the transformations it could help you create. Now it's a completely different story, and pretty much everybody I connect with has known somebody that has worked with a coach, or they themselves have experienced coaching. And so I really can just see this industry like taking off in a massive way, and rightly so.
One of the biggest transformations I've seen in terms of their opinion on coaching has been my mom. So really? When I first started doing this, my dad's still yet to come on board, still very old school, cynical, but my mum is totally behind me. And I've informally, unofficially coached her quite a lot, and I've massively changed how she looks at things. And she says that to me, like when I've had some down moments recently, because I've recently left the day job, which was a massive thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to you on this one, because I was like, right, okay, I know she's quit her job, and I know a lot of people listening to this will perhaps be thinking, I want to quit my job as well. So I'm definitely gonna come back to you on that one as well.
But in when I've kind of been like, I don't know what I'm doing and like how to move forward with this, my mum's been my biggest cheerleader. And like when I first said to her about signing up to the Clique Academy and doing my coaching certification, she was like, Alison, don't even talk to us about this. Like, wow, totally interested. So that has been the hugest about turn.
Oh my goodness. I actually want to ask you a little bit more about this, because I was in sort of a similar position. Like I didn't even tell my parents when I first stepped into this industry, because I was so worried about what they would say, the idea of me quitting a job, and like especially when I'd gone to uni for so many years, I didn't tell them for ages. And it wasn't until like I started making money that I actually felt comfortable enough to tell them. And I know so many of our students have experienced the same, where they've either not wanted to say anything, or they've had friends or family that just haven't understood it. So you've had this, Alison. How did you have that courage to move forwards towards your dreams, despite the fact you didn't have the support of the parents?
It's a difficult one, because although I'm now 38, so it feels a bit ridiculous to kind of go, what, your parents are still kind of dictating things almost, but it's a lifelong pattern, and it's about breaking free from those patterns. And I just had this moment of, where's my life going to be in a year if I don't do this? I was like, I can't even contemplate that. And I said to my partner, I was like, I'm going to have to take out a loan to do this. I said, in worst case scenario, in 4 years, I'll have paid it off, because I went for like the really low payments. I said, but the best case scenario, this could give us the life of our dreams. Is that not worth taking a chance on and going forward with? And my parents don't need to know everything. Like, my life is for me, and I have too long been living in the shadows of other people's expectations.
Oh wow, yes, That is, I love how you've just phrased that there, living in the shadows of other people's expectations. And I think so many women in particular, I think, go through this where they live from a place of duty rather than desire. It's like going along with what you think you should do, you know, going and getting a job, you know, going the safe path. And it's not often not necessarily because that's the thing that lights you up, but it's because you're, like you said, like trying to live up to other people's expectations of you. And how do you feel now that you've sort of broken free of what other people think and you are doing you for you?
Weird. It's definitely something that takes a bit of time getting used to, but I feel like I'm doing what I was meant to be doing. I feel happy, I feel fulfilled. I'm finally living my life on my terms for me for the first time in my life. You know, I went and got the biomedical science career and people go, oh, wow. And I'm like, well, not really. I work in a lab and like I load blood onto machines. It was really like awe-inspiring when I first got into it. But actually the day-to-day of it, like I wasn't fulfilled. It wasn't, you know, like society were kind of going, oh yeah, you're doing a good thing. You know, my dad's like, oh yeah, you've got a good job. And I'm like, but I'm not happy. Is this it? Is this what I'm supposed to stick with for the next 30 years? When I thought that, I was like, oh my God, I don't feel like I can stick with this for another year, let alone another 30 years. Like I want freedom. I want, you know, I want more than just dragging myself out of bed every morning and doing what everyone else are telling me to do. Like I was just sick of it.
But now being on the other side of things, having just quit your job, how does that feel?
Incredible. I feel free. Because even when I started my coaching business and I started speaking up about all of this, I still had to censor what I was saying because I didn't want them to get narky or anything. And then in March this year, I actually ended up going off sick because I was getting bullied and harassed by my line manager. And I really had to go quiet on social media. I mean, I was struggling with my anxiety because of the treatment that I'd suffered. And they admitted it all. He turned around and said he'd done it all. So they completely validated me through the grievance procedure. And then they were like, so when are you going to come back? And I was like, sorry, what? Like nothing's changed. And you're expecting me to just go back like everything's okay now just because he said sorry. It'd been going on nearly 2 years. So I had to take my life into my hands, really. Like that's really how I felt. And I just said, sorry, I'm not coming back. I can't do this anymore. And it felt terrifying, absolutely terrifying to not have that security behind me. But it's a real false security because it's really limited. Like every month I was, you know, 2 days before payday and I was absolutely skint. And it's just living in this cycle and you feel scared to break out of the cycle. But like getting stuck in that cycle,
it's almost like because everybody else is doing it, it kind of becomes the normal. And so even though like you know that, you know, your paycheck, you know exactly what you're making and maybe you're only just about to make ends meet at the end of each month, but it feels safe because you know the next month you're going to get it again. And so when you kind of step into your own business and you know that you don't have that safety net, but the other side of that is that you can earn bigger and, you know, more and do more amazing things than what you ever thought possible.
Yeah, like I show up on my Zooms weekly with my ladies in my membership and we have a glass of wine and we, you know, we have a laugh and a joke and I'm still coaching them. I'm still giving them amazing information that they need to move forward with their life. And it's like, and this is work, you know, like I just love it. And it's so easy and feels so good and aligned. And it still almost feels like a bit of a pinch me dream come true moment that this is my life right now. Like, I don't set alarms anymore. I'm not a morning person. So I wake up naturally when I wake up, and I make a cup of coffee and I go and sit outside in my Zen den, we call it, my gazebo outside.
I love that.
And even though the weather's turned now, I've got blankets and a hot water bottle. So every morning, like, that is my ritual, to go and just spend 15 minutes, half an hour sat outside, breathing in that fresh air, and that sets me up for the day. And I just feel so blessed that I get to do that every single morning now.
Yeah, I love that. And this is the thing, like you said about a pinch me moment, like I still get it as well, where I'm like, this is work, like this is what I get to do every single day and get paid for it and have this profound impact on others. Like, it's just such a wonderful feeling. And how does that contrast from, you know, what life was like previously when you were in that job?
Oh, it's a total contrast, totally. It almost feels like it happened to a different person. Like, it almost doesn't feel like that was my life and that was my story, because things are so different now. And I was belittled. I couldn't, you know, show up and be me for the fear of judgment. And even though I coach in this, it's amazing when you get in that, like, you're in that cycle with these people, you get in those patterns, and it's really hard to break free until you make a change. And now I've got the opportunity to choose who I spend my time around. I've got the opportunity to decide who comes into my world, who impacts my energy, and that's huge, to actually have that decision. Normally, you can't choose who you work with.
Yeah, that's so true. And when people think about freedom, often they just think of like the freedom to work when you want and where you want, but it's also this freedom to actually surround yourself with the people you want to surround yourself by. And often in a job, we don't have that freedom, you know. So if we're like sat next to a negative Nelly all day, like we're stuck sat next to a negative Nelly. So yeah, I love that. Let's jump into one of your most recent successes, which has been the launch of your book, which is bestseller on Amazon across a number of different categories. How did it feel like when you kind of published that book and it went live and, you know, it started to actually become a real thing?
It's still really surreal. It's still really surreal. Now, the book is a collaboration with 14 other entrepreneurial ladies, and we have all told our own stories of stepping into our passion, purpose, and power. And I couldn't be more blessed with the ladies that have come together to do this. We had a launch party last Sunday, and it was just such a high vibe, inspirational day, all about just lifting each other up. And that kind of was just a real moment of, these are the people I want to be around, these are the people I need to be around, you know. And
that's amazing. That's amazing. And what I love actually about sort of this industry is that you just never know where it's going to take you. And there's so many different opportunities that are available to you as a coach. Like, it's not all just about working with clients. It could be, you know, writing a book. It could be doing a retreat. Because I mean, did you anticipate that you were going to do something like this when you started out on this path?
I didn't. I've wanted to be an author since I was a child. And I did say at the beginning of this year that I wanted to write a book this year. And that's a perfect example of how I put it out there to the universe, and the universe showed up with the how for me, because I didn't know where to start with writing a book. I didn't think little old me could do something like that. And I'm so lucky that I had this opportunity, because now I am going to go forward and write a book in my own right. So that I am intending to get out there next year.
Oh my goodness, how exciting.
Now I have all the context. Now I know how the process works. So it's not just something that's a bit of a pipe dream, but I actually understand how to do this now. So this book has been the most amazing springboard. And talking about like your fears and things like that, I saw the post about the book collaboration, and at first I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. And then all the fears kicked in. But what if everyone hates my story? What if I don't know what to write about? What if I can't do it? What if people judge me? All of that sort of stuff. And then I thought, no, just send the message and just commit yourself before you talk yourself out of it. So I did. And then I procrastinated on sending the contract back. I procrastinated on because the book's for charity as well. So we've all paid a fee to get it published and everything. I procrastinated on sending that in. Then I sat down and started doing my chapter and totally hit writer's block. And I was like, I just can't do it. I'm just going to message her and tell her I can't do it. And then I was like, no, pull yourself together. You can do this. So it's not like writing my chapter was smooth going at all. I still had to work through a lot of blocks with doing that, because it's a huge thing. And like, my story starts 7.5 years ago when I just left an abusive relationship. It's a big thing to talk about. Like, that was the rock bottom in my life. And it's a very vulnerable story. But I think it's a very important one to share, which is why I wanted to be part of doing this. Doesn't mean it was easy.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, sometimes the things that we're required to do, like, you know, sharing our story, being vulnerable, they're sometimes the most challenging things that we can do as coaches, but actually they're the things that the world needs the most. And I'm sure for you, that story that you've written, like, it's going out there, and it might have been difficult for you to get it out there, but that story is going to become somebody's survival guide. And it might be, you know, there may be one person out there that gets that and reads that message just at the right moment when they're literally at their rock bottom as well. So I love that you're being brave enough to put quite vulnerable things out there. And as I said, we will link actually to the book so you can grab your copy. So you've mentioned about writing your own book. What else is for you moving forwards? Like, what are your other big dreams and plans for your coaching business?
That's a good question, because this year is just really feels like it's passed me by right now, because I've been so embroiled with all the work stuff, and now that's behind me. It's time to start looking forward. So growing my membership, and, you know, helping more ladies. I have a group program that I am planning to release next month in November.
Amazing.
And that's going to be all about, you know, a beginner's guide to personal development, mindset and energy work, because it's not just about the mindset, but it's about getting your energy in the right place. And this is work you have to do on an ongoing basis, and it's not difficult. It is fairly simple, but it's not easy work to do, and it's things that you have to, you know, work on consistently. And I want to give people the tools that took me 10 years to piece together. I want to give people the tools that they can go away and do this really easily themselves.
Amazing. That sounds like such a needed and fantastic program. And I love the idea that you're running it in a group as well, because I think having that network of support around you as you go through the process of transforming your mindset is so important. Which is actually bringing me on to, I wanted to talk a little bit more about your time in the Clique Academy. And I think the feedback that I often get from our graduates is the community and the support system that they have from being in that program. But what were some of your favorite things about being a part of the Clique Academy?
The community has been one of the biggest things, and the fact that that's ongoing as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I completed my Clique method certification. I'm still working through the ICF one over a year ago, 15 odd months ago, and I still come back in there looking for advice, support. I very often ask for guest speakers for my membership. You know, I love being there to help support the other ladies who are just starting on their journey, and community is a massive thing for me. And it's just, yeah, that has been one of the biggest things. Like, you've got the learnings, you've got the Zoom calls and everything, but actually being able to connect with others. I've made some incredible friends from there, and that has meant so much to me, to find people that actually understand this stuff. Because, you know, working in the lab, they really didn't get any of this, and so I just really had to keep my mouth shut. And it's been really nice to find my tribe of people that get me.
Yeah, you're so right. And that was one of the things when I was developing the academy. I was like, for me, like starting out, I didn't know anybody that was a coach, and I didn't really know anyone that was a business owner. Like most of my friends were in jobs. So just having that network of women that get it, that are on that path with you, I think is so, so important for your success as a coach. And yeah, and having that just like as an ongoing thing, like not just, okay, now I'm certified, now I'm kind of out on my own. Like I think you need that continuous like accountability and support as you grow and as you develop.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing, getting certified is only the first step, really.
Yeah.
You know, you need that ongoing support as you move forward. No one gets certified and has a ready-made business to just walk into. And I think that's a massive misconception as well. Like, this work is, you know, you have to do the personal development, you have to do the work on yourself, you have to keep going. And I think a lot of people think business is easy, and it's incredibly rewarding, but you have to be accountable to yourself. There's no one else there propping you up, except in the Clique Academy. When you're having a bad day, you can go in there and you can get the support, and you can have other people propping you up and telling you that it is an ongoing journey and to keep going. You know, for me, the most inspiring things I've heard have not been the overnight successes, but the people who have kept going with it, who have found the ways that didn't work and kept with it until they found the ways that did work for them, because there isn't just one way of doing business.
Yeah, absolutely. So to wrap things up, Alison, I would love for you to share with our listeners some words of wisdom for anybody who is thinking about becoming a coach, but is perhaps allowing their fears to hold them back and they are procrastinating on their dreams. What would you say to that woman right now?
That you've got to connect in to your vision and see where you want to be in 1 year, 5 year, 10 years time. And does your life that you're in right now serve you in that vision? You know, if nothing changes, if you don't change and you are in the driving seat of your life, you actually really can make these decisions and make these changes for you. And I know a lot of time it doesn't seem possible, but make your why stronger than your excuses. Make your reasons for doing it, the reasons to go ahead and do it. And don't let fear win. Like, fear is just a real primal concept that goes back to caveman days. And it's not really, you know, it's there to make you think twice. It's there to stop you making really stupid decisions, but don't let it take over.
And this idea of making your sort of desires stronger than your excuses, just to sort of finish on a practical note, because I know that you love practical action steps as well, is there anything that our listeners can do to help with that? So what's worked for you to help you make your desires stronger than your excuses? Are there any sort of exercises or tools that have really helped with that?
You know what, writing things down.
Yeah.
And writing down what's stopping you and the reasons why you want to do things. And while I am a very logical and practical person, sometimes you've just got to go with what you want. Like, what you want is a good enough reason to go and do something. You don't have to justify it to anybody. If it's something that feels right to you, if it's going to lift you and fulfill your soul, then go for it. It doesn't have to feel practical. It doesn't have, you know, you don't have to have a million reasons to justify why it's right, other than you just want to do it, and that's okay.
Yeah, I love that. It's kind of like that knowing, isn't it? It's like trusting your heart, trusting yourself to go with what feels right for you, and then just actually going ahead and doing it. And I love what you said about writing things down, because that's something that I still do to this day. Like, I mean, I still do a lot of mindset work, but just writing things down is so simple. Just sitting down and writing, like, what do I want my life to look like? How do I want my day to look from start to finish? And is what I'm doing right now, like, serving me? And is it helping me get there? or is there a different path? And that was kind of for me, like when I started to think about business, because I was like, well, I don't actually want to be working for somebody else. I want to travel more and I want more freedom. So yeah, I love that you've mentioned that as a tool. So for people wanting to know where they can find you, we're going to link to your book, but is there any other place that people can find you? Where do you normally hang out online? Is it Facebook, Instagram?
Facebook. I'm a Facebook girl. I keep trying on Instagram, but I love my Facebook community, which is the Positive Mindset Tribe. So
brilliant.
That you'll come find me.
Brilliant. Okay, so we will link that in the show notes as well. Alison, honestly, it's been an absolute dream connecting with you today. And I just want to say, like, you know, how proud I am of you, just seeing your journey, like seeing where you were right at the beginning. I know you mentioned you came into our free course. I actually remember you from that free course. I remember like you taking that free course, like way before you were even, you know, one of our students, and then just obviously connecting with you in the program itself, and then just seeing where you are now. And I remember when I saw that post and you'd announced that you'd, you know, quit your job, like I was like, proud mama. So yeah, I just want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey. And I'm so excited to see where things go for you in the next year, in the next 2 years, the next 5 years, because I can imagine you are going big places, young lady.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you've provided with the Clique Academy, for this platform and springboard you've given me, because I don't know where I'd be right now without it.
Oh no, you are so welcome. All right, ladies, well, thank you very, very much for tuning in, and thank you again, Alison.
Thank you so much.
If you are wanting to build your own successful online coaching business, make sure to check out Freedom, Abundance and Impact, our free 10-day business and mindset course for coaches and aspiring coaches. To access, simply head to wearetheclique.com and click free course in the menu.